Welcome, future CPAs. If you're ready to really lock in one of the most practical topics for the board exams, you are in exactly the right place. Look, this isn't just another lecture. Think of this as a high-retention guide designed to help you master the Philippine Lemon Law, that's RA 10642, and keep that knowledge totally fresh for years to come, all the way up to exam day.
Okay, let's dive right into our playbook. So here's the game plan. We'll kick things off with the core problem this law solves, then we'll define its protections, walk through the exact steps you need to take, see who makes the final call, and then we'll wrap it all up with a super fast review to make sure this all sticks in your brain. Let's get to it.
All right, first up, let's set the stage a little. We really need to understand the exact situation this whole law was created to fix.
I mean, just imagine that feeling for a second. You've saved up, you've made this huge investment, and the one thing that's supposed to be reliable just keeps breaking down. This is the exact situation Republic Act 10642, the Lemon Law, was designed to address. It's basically your legal shield when a massive investment goes seriously wrong right from the very beginning.
So this word right here is absolutely crucial, nonconformity. Now, this isn't just, a little scratch or a weird rattle. This is the official legal term for a defect that's so significant it actually messes with the use, the value, or the safety of the car. To put it simply, this is the word that legally makes your brand new car a lemon.
Now, let's get into who and what is actually protected under this law. Think of this next part as defining the playing field, because let's be real, knowing the rules of the game is half the battle. And here we go. This is a classic exam question, so you might want to screenshot this one with your brain. The law's protection applies only to brand new vehicles. That means any secondhand car, no matter how new it might seem, is not covered by this law. It's a super clear rule you absolutely have to remember. Okay, LEC pay alert. This next part is all about the ticking clock. The Lemon Law rights period is the specific window you have to report that nonconformity we just talked about. So you're going to want to pay close attention because this period is defined by two very clear and very testable limits.
The first limit is all about time. You've got 12 months. That's it. 12 months from the date the vehicle was originally delivered to you.
And the second limit is about usage, 20,000 kilometers of operation. Now here's the key, the part they love to ask about on exams. Your rights period ends whichever of these two comes first. Got it? Not both, but whichever milestone you hit first. But hey, the law is a two-way street, and it's super important to know what isn't covered. Your claim can be totally voided if the issue is actually your fault. We're talking things like unauthorized mods, trying to make it a race car, or just neglecting maintenance, getting into a crash, or damage from a flood. Those are on the owner, not the manufacturer. The law protects you from factory defects, not from misuse or, acts of God. All right, let's move on to the first major step in this whole process. Now that you know you're covered, what do you actually do? Well, this step is all about giving the seller a fair shot to fix the problem. This phrase, pulled right from the law itself, is the heart of this rule. You can't just go in there once and demand a new car. You have to have documented at least 4 separate repair attempts for the exact same problem. And if after 4 tries the problem is still there, then you can escalate.
So what's the magic number? You got it, it's 4. Once you have that documentation for 4 separate repair attempts on the same issue, that is your green light to take it to the next level. So, you've hit that magic number. You've given them 4 chances, and the problem is still there. Now it's time to make your official play and formally invoke your rights under the law.
This slide right here maps out your entire process. It's your procedural playbook. So after your 4 attempts, you send a formal written notice. Now this notice triggers one final repair attempt. If that fails, and only then can you file your case with the DTI. And to make that whole process even easier to remember, here's a little study hack for you. Just remember 4RND. That stands for the initial 4 repairs. Then the N is for the written notice you serve, which triggers one last repair attempt. And if that fails, D is for filing your complaint with the DTI. 4RND. It's a super simple mnemonic to help you crush those procedural questions. So you've followed all the steps, you've even used our cool mnemonic, and the car is still, officially, a lemon. Now the case is with the Department of Trade and Industry. So let's see how the DTI, acting as the official referee here, resolves the whole dispute.
This table lays it all out pretty clearly. There are basically 3 paths at the DTI. First, they'll always try mediation. That's where they try to get everyone to just agree on a solution. If that fails, the parties can choose to go to arbitration for a binding decision from a neutral party. But if they don't agree to that, it goes to adjudication, and that's where the DTI basically acts like a judge and makes a formal ruling on the case.
All right, team, let's bring it in for the final huddle. We've covered a ton of ground. Now it's time to lock this all in with a rapid-fire review of the most critical, exam-worthy points. This is where we make it stick for good.
Okay, first, let's hit coverage. Remember, it applies only to brand new vehicles. The RICE period is 12 months or 20,000 kilometers, whichever comes first. And do not forget the exclusions. Unauthorized mods, abuse, accidents, and acts of God will get your claim thrown out.
Next up, the process. What's the magic number? 4. 4 attempts for the same problem. Your first official action is that written notice, and that triggers one final repair attempt before you can finally go to the final referee, the DTI. Just remember our mnemonic, 4RND.
And finally, the resolution. The two main outcomes for you, the consumer, are a full replacement of the vehicle or a repurchase, meaning you get your money back. This is all handled by the DTI. And remember this one key detail. A reasonable allowance for use will be deducted from any refund to account for the time you actually got to use the car.
And that is your high-speed guide to acing the Philippine Lemon Law. The law gives you a powerful playbook, but as we've seen, every single step requires proof. So the biggest takeaway here is that knowledge is power, but documentation is your evidence. Keep every single receipt, every service order. Play by the rules, document everything, and the law will have your back.